There is a principle that has been proven true across every culture, every civilization, and every era of human history. It is a principle so powerful, so certain, and so absolute that no man or woman can escape its consequences. That principle is this: you do not decide your future, you decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. I want you to hear that again, because many people are sitting in places of frustration right now. They are praying for a different future. They are hoping for a better tomorrow. They are dreaming about what could be. But the tragedy is, they have not examined what they do every single day. And what you do every single day is building the life you will live 10 years from now. My name is Myles Munroe, and I have spent decades studying the human condition, studying leadership, studying the nature of greatness, and studying the principles of personal transformation. And I want to tell you today that the most powerful force in your life is not your talent. It is not your intelligence. It is not even your opportunity. The most powerful force operating in your life right now is your habits, the architecture of a life. Let me explain something to you. A building does not appear suddenly. Before you see the structure standing tall, someone laid a foundation. Someone put brick upon brick, day after day, week after week, month after month. The building that took years to construct started with a single decision and a consistent pattern of action. Your life is a building, and every single day you are either laying bricks that build toward a magnificent future, or you're laying bricks that construct a prison around your potential. The question is not whether you are building. You are always building. The question is what you are building. Every morning you wake up, you make a choice. Every hour that passes, you make a choice. Every evening before you sleep, you make a choice. And those choices, repeated over days and weeks and years, become the architecture of your existence. Many people want to change their circumstances, but they refuse to change their conduct. They want God to give them a new destination while they keep walking the same road. That is not how life works. That is not how the universe was designed. The laws that govern nature also govern human behavior. A seed planted in poor soil, watered irregularly, and neglected consistently cannot produce a mighty harvest. And neither can a life built on poor daily habits produce an extraordinary destiny. What is a habit, really? Now I want to be very precise about what I mean when I say the word habit. A habit is not just something you do occasionally. A habit is not a one-time action. A habit is a pattern of behavior that has been repeated so many times that it now operates almost automatically. You do not think about it anymore. It just happens. That is the genius of a good habit and the danger of a bad one. When a behavior becomes automatic, it no longer requires effort. It no longer demands willpower. It simply flows from you like breathing. Good habits, therefore, are among the most valuable things a human being can possess because they allow you to do great things without the constant, exhausting battle of forcing yourself to act. Think about the most successful, the most effective, the most impactful human beings who have ever walked this earth. Do you believe they woke up every morning and struggled to convince themselves to work hard? No. At some point, discipline became a habit. At some point, focus became a habit. At some point, excellence became a habit. And once something becomes a habit, it becomes effortless. It becomes who you are. This is the secret that most people never discover. They believe that success is about bursts of brilliance, moments of genius, or sudden miraculous breakthrough. But the truth is that sustained success is always the product of sustained habits. Brilliance without consistency produces nothing lasting. But ordinary effort repeated consistently over time produces extraordinary results. The danger of comfortable habits. Now I have to say something that might be uncomfortable, but I would be doing you a disservice if I did not speak it. The greatest enemy of your future is not your failure. The greatest enemy of your future is your comfort. Many people have developed the habit of comfort. They have made a daily practice of doing just enough. They have repeated the behavior of settling. They have established the routine of mediocrity. And because it has been repeated so many times, it no longer feels like settling. It simply feels normal. It feels like life. I meet people all over the world who are living in the ruins of habits they never consciously chose. They wake up in a life they never intended to build because they allowed days to pass without intention. They allowed weeks to go by without direction. They allowed years to disappear without design. And then they look around at where they are and wonder how they got there. I will tell you how. Brick by brick, decision by decision, habit by habit. The comfortable habit of sleeping too late. The comfortable habit of consuming more than you create. The comfortable habit of surrounding yourself with people who celebrate your excuses rather than challenge your potential. The comfortable habit of talking about what you are going to do rather than actually doing it. Each one of these, repeated daily, constructs a life of limitation. And here is the painful truth. You cannot blame your environment for a life built by your own hands. You cannot blame the economy for a future you designed yourself through your daily choices. Personal responsibility is not a popular message, but it is the only path to personal freedom. The science of transformation. Now here is what I find absolutely fascinating. The human brain was designed for change. Every neuroscientist, every researcher who has studied the brain in depth will tell you the same thing. The brain is plastic, it is moldable, it is changeable throughout your entire life. This means that no matter how old you are, no matter how long you have been living with destructive patterns, your brain can be rewired. New pathways can be created. New behaviors can become automatic. New habits can be formed. The question is whether you are willing to go through the discomfort of the formation period. Because let me tell you something important. When you begin to form a new habit, it feels unnatural. It feels forced. It feels like you are fighting against yourself. And that is exactly what is happening. You are fighting against the old neural pathways, the old grooves that have been worn deep by years of repetition. The new behavior does not have a pathway yet. It is cutting through new territory, and that always requires more energy, more focus, and more intentionality. This is why most people quit. They start a new habit, and after a few days it still feels hard, it still feels unnatural, and they conclude that it is not working. But the problem is not the habit. The problem is the patience. They do not understand that transformation is not an event. Transformation is a process, and the process requires persistence through the discomfort. Every new habit you want to establish requires a season of deliberate practice before it becomes automatic. You must push through the resistance. You must push through the days when it does not feel good, when you do not feel motivated, when every part of you wants to go back to the familiar. Because on the other side of that resistance is a new version of you, a version that operates at a higher level automatically. 7 habits that will change your future. I want to give you something practical today. Not just inspiration, not just motivation, but direction. Because inspiration without direction is just emotional energy with nowhere to go. So let me share with you 7 habits that have the power to transform your future. The first habit is the habit of early rising. Every person I have ever studied who accomplished something significant had a relationship with the early hours of the morning. There is something about the morning that carries a unique quality of clarity. When the world is still quiet, when the demands of others have not yet crowded your mind, that is when you can hear the deepest voice within you. That is when you can set the tone for your entire day. Win the morning, and you are well on your way to winning the day. The second habit is the habit of intentional learning. The person who stops learning begins dying, mentally and spiritually. Every day you should be adding to what you know. Every day you should be expanding your understanding of your field, your calling, your purpose. Read, study, ask questions. Seek out wisdom from those who have walked further than you. The investment you make in your mind will pay dividends in every area of your life. No one can take your education from you. No market crash, no economic downturn, no change of government can strip your mind of what it contains. The third habit is the habit of purposeful movement. Your physical body is the vehicle through which you carry out your purpose in this world. If the vehicle is neglected, if the vehicle is poorly maintained, your capacity to fulfill your purpose is diminished. I am not talking about vanity. I am talking about stewardship. Your body is not yours. It was given to you, and how you steward it determines how long and how effectively you can pursue your purpose. The fourth habit is the habit of controlled association. You must be deliberate about who you allow into your inner circle. The people you spend the most time with will shape your thinking, your language, your aspirations, and your behavior. If you surround yourself with people who are going nowhere, eventually their direction becomes your direction. If you surround yourself with people who think small, eventually their vision becomes your ceiling. Guard your associations as carefully as you guard anything else of great value. The fifth habit is the habit of financial discipline. Wealth is not built in moments. Wealth is built through consistent, disciplined financial behavior over time. The habit of saving before you spend. The habit of investing rather than only consuming. The habit of living below your means so that you can build beyond your current circumstances. Financial freedom is not about how much you earn. It is about the habits you have built around what you earn. The sixth habit is the habit of silence and reflection. In a world that is louder than ever before, the ability to sit in silence has become a rare and powerful skill. Every great leader, every great thinker, every person who has changed the world drew from deep wells of inner clarity. That clarity comes from stillness. It comes from giving yourself time to think, to reflect, to evaluate, and to listen to the deeper wisdom that resides within you. Build silence into your day as a non-negotiable habit. The seventh habit is the habit of consistent action toward your purpose. Dreams without action are just hallucinations. Vision without execution is just fantasy. Every single day, no matter how small the step, you must take deliberate action in the direction of your purpose. Not someday, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready. Now, today, with what you have, where you are. The person who takes imperfect, consistent action will always outperform the person who waits for the perfect moment to act perfectly. Your future is being built right now. I want you to understand something with great clarity. Your future is not waiting somewhere out ahead of you, fully formed, waiting for you to arrive. Your future is being constructed right now, in this moment, by the decisions you are making today. The you that will exist 5 years from now is being assembled brick by brick through your present habits. If you want to look at what your life will be in 5 years, do not look at your dreams. Look at your daily habits. Do not examine your goals. Examine your routines, because your routines will always outweigh your goals. A goal without a routine attached to it is just a wish. This is a sobering truth, but it is also an incredibly empowering one, because it means that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the architect of your experience. The power to build a different future lies not in some external force or some fortunate break. It lies in your willingness to change what you do every single day. You have more control over your future than you have ever been told. Not control over the economy, not control over other people, not control over every variable life will present, but control over how you respond, what you practice, what you build into yourself daily. And that control is enough. That control, exercised consistently over time, is enough to produce a life that would astonish you. The decision that changes everything. I have stood before audiences across the globe. I have spoken to those who had nothing and to those who had everything. I have sat with the discouraged and counseled the celebrated. And in all of that, one thing has always been true. The moment of genuine transformation never comes from an outside event. It always comes from an inside decision. The decision that changes everything is the decision to no longer accept where you are as where you must remain. The decision to take complete ownership of your daily choices. The decision to exchange your comfortable habits for your productive ones, your distracting habits for your disciplined ones, your limiting habits for your liberating ones. This is not a small decision. I want to acknowledge that. Breaking a deeply ingrained habit is one of the hardest things a human being can do. It requires you to go against years of conditioning. It requires you to disappoint the part of yourself that has become addicted to the familiar. It requires courage. But let me remind you of something. Every version of yourself that you have ever admired, every person you have ever looked at and thought, I want to live like that. I want to impact people like that. I want to build something like that. Every single one of those people went through a moment where they decided that their comfort was less important than their calling. You have been given a life, not just existence, a life. A life with purpose, with meaning, with potential that extends far beyond what you have currently expressed. And that potential is not going to be unlocked by what happens to you. It is going to be unlocked by what you do consistently, daily, deliberately. A final word. Let me leave you with this. The seeds you plant today, you will harvest tomorrow. Every habit you build now is a seed. And seeds are not judged in the planting, they are judged in the harvest. Plant seeds of discipline and you will harvest a life of freedom. Plant seeds of learning and you will harvest wisdom that will make room for you in places you could never have manufactured your way into. Plant seeds of integrity in your habits, in your private behavior when no one is watching, and you will eventually stand in positions of influence and trust that no political connection or social manipulation could have secured. Change your habits and you change your future. Not maybe. Not possibly. Certainly. Absolutely, without exception. The future is not a mystery. It is a mirror, and it will reflect back to you exactly what you have put into the present. So I ask you today, what are you putting in? What are you planting? What are you building? Because the harvest is coming, the future is arriving, one day at a time, and you alone, are deciding what it will contain. Begin today, not tomorrow, not after this week, today. With one new habit, one better decision, one higher standard for the person you are going to be when no one else is watching. Do that, and I promise you, your future will never look the same again.